Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Game 17 of the season. Titans at Jaguars. Winner take all for the AFC South title. The Titans are looking for a third straight crown in the AFC South. The Jags looking for just their second ever. This is either going to be a season salvaging win or the seventh straight loss in a collapse that started after the team hit 7-3 with a big win in Green Bay. Got the whole crew here. Action Jackson and Joe Honk are rocking and rolling the wheels of steel. Blaine Bishop is here. I am here, and Buck Reising is boots on the ground in Jacksonville. Buck, let's start with this. What in the world is the mood like down there in a town that is all painted teal right now?
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys working with me today. It's been a little complicated logistically, but people are fired up down here. Understandably so. Their team is playing really well. Jags are averaging 31.5 points a game since the last time the Titans played them in Week 14. So, with the way that the offense is operating efficiently and the defense is good enough, they're missing some parts and pieces, but who isn't at this stage? Vibes are high here in Jacksonville. The weather's beautiful, too.
This show brought to you by Lee Company. All you need, visit them online at leecompany.com. They've gone so far as they made a hype video with Jeff Fisher in it for this week.
No,
that's the hype video. Is Jeff Fisher saying, "Well, we actually have
this our home field.
We have another home field in Alltel Stadium." That's in a hype video made this week in 2023.
20 years.
I didn't know anything what was going on. I didn't know who that player. I assume it's a former player that was voicing it. I didn't really get half the references that were in it. I honestly thought it was one of the most underwhelming hype videos, if you want to call it a hype video, that I've seen. But yeah, they're trying to get into. They're new at this. They haven't been worth making hype videos about. God knows. So they're trying to figure it out and doing the best job I can to get, I guess that they can.
Well, Blaine was part of the crew that had to go and cash that check after Fisher said that last year. They had to.
Yes, I do recall this, and I know Mickey knows the answer to this. I was not happy about that, being that I was the captain of one of the captains of the team, because I'm like, hey, coach, you're not the one out there playing these guys. Why the heck are you getting them fired up? You tell us not to say stuff and give them bulletin board material. Boy, that sure did. But it worked out all well. But going into the game, I was like, what the? Why are we? You need to strap them up there, Coach Fish. Help us out there out here in the secondary, man. Yeah, so, I remember that. And that, I think he was just joshing and more fun than anything else. But at the same time, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, and that's the time he did it. And I was like, man, this is hard to beat this team, 3 times in a row. And now we were the only ones to beat them in that season. And those people, not just the fans, players. I mean, Fred Taylor, Jimmy Smith, Leon Searcy, guys I talk, they are still pissed off about it, to the point Fred Taylor won't even text me or call me back. He is still pissed at that. He is still pissed. Yeah. So I get it. And so that's why they're all fired up, and they want redemption like 20-something years later. I'm like, well, I don't know about that, sirs. I mean, that's over. I mean, it make you feel good maybe, but this is too big of a separation of time for me to even think if I'm going to get, revenge on the Ravens for beating us in the playoffs. I get it, the fans and everything else. But our time has passed, and now it's a new time, new era, new players, new coaches, and everything else. So they're naturally going to get those questions. But at the end of the day, this is their version of the Jags and the Titans, and whoever shows up and plays their best on this day is going to win the game. It has nothing to do with what happened in the past.
No, and that's exactly right. That's the exact mindset that the coaching staff is going to have. That's the exact mindset the players are going to have, and that's the correct mindset that fans should have. And even though, I think it's hard to kind of separate yourself and do it in a one-game sample size that way for fans, that's the nature of this business for the people who are actually participating in what's going on the field. So, I think that we all know the situations that got them beat in Week 14, the 4 turnovers, the extra possessions that they were able to gift the Jags, the possessions that they cost themselves, the opportunity of points that they cost themselves in that game, and the inability to get to Trevor Lawrence, who's getting rid of the football as well as any quarterback in the sport this year. He's third in terms of time to throw. He's getting it out in a hurry, and it's really, really mitigating a lot of the things that for the longest time, caused them problems.
Mm-hmm. What do you think are some of the counters to that? If you're on the defensive side and you're the Titans, they're going to have the quick passing game, which they did do in attack. And actually, it's kind of somewhat the head coach's Peterson, style a little bit. Every game he kind of does some quick passing game throughout the game, and that's why they get rid of the ball so fast. But what would be the counterattack you think Vrabel's going to do to try to mitigate that kind of impact?
Well, I mean, certainly they're going to try to match hands as they did. Jeff Simmons had 2 bad passes. Rashad Weaver had 2 bad passes in the first game, and that's really the best thing that they can do because they're not going to send additional blitzers, and I think it would be foolish. Trevor Lawrence has done well against the blitz this year just by nature of how quickly he is able to get rid of the ball, and he's seeing things a lot better now that he's comfortable, he's in rhythm, he's playing with confidence. So, yeah, I mean, get hands up, use the length that they have, try to push the pocket where you can and make things muddy on them as much as humanly possible. To give you a ton of opportunities, or at least he hasn't been giving teams a ton of opportunities in the last couple of weeks.
Seems to be a small minority of people, Buck, and I know you've talked about this on your show, and I've seen some back and forth on Twitter. We talked about it on our show. There's a small minority of people out there who would prefer that the Titans did not win this game, that they rose up the draft ladder and maybe cracked the top 10 or get in somewhere along that line. And what's funny is there is nobody in the building who's actually going to be involved in trying to win this game that thinks that, but there's a small kind of vocal minority of fans who would prefer a loss today.
Yeah, well, it's dumb. I mean, it's just dumb.
Just be honest here, Buck. Just tell us how you really feel.
I got a little snippy with people on the internet and, trying to ask me about or trying to talk to me about the idea that it would put the franchise in a better position. And be completely transparent, I probably should have looked at what the difference is between the picks that they would have before I started going after people. But, the principle is the same. I almost said a bad word. I don't give a damn about draft picks today. There's a football game that I'm here to cover. Mm-hmm. So, where their draft positioning is, whatever. I'll deal with that when the time comes to deal with draft picks and whatnot. In the meantime, I'm about to cover a team that's going to try and get into the postseason that is essentially playing a playoff game, a play-in game today. So, for those of you who are more concerned with your team's off-season than your team's regular season, that is still actively ongoing for the moment, I got nothing for you. Don't watch the game if you're somebody like that. Because, what else? What is the purpose? What is the enjoyment for you?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Buck. So, yeah, I'm right there with you, lock and step with that. But because you never know what would happen in this final game with an opponent that you may play in that first round, and you just want to get in. And once you in, now it's about the matchup, and if they have certain players hurt that could help you in a way to win the game, just like they've had injuries, and now all of a sudden they're getting healthy, and now they've gotten at least a quarterback that can get them through a game and be a passing threat, let alone a running threat. I think now that kind of opens the window to say, okay, if we get in, now anything can happen. Especially when you got, a special player in the King in the backfield and a special player in Big Jeff back, and hopefully they're all playing at a high level and all the guys that in that secondary, and maybe you can make some big plays and get some pressure and then get some turnovers and, the momentum changes, and next thing you know, you're in the second round and you already in the first round, and then you may even get another home game if you're a fan. So if you win the AFC South, you get a home game, and then you never know what's going to happen.
The objective and just give yourself an opportunity to compete. I mean, that's what this is about at the end of the day. And for the Titans, that's the mindset that they've been preaching all. It's not a change in mindset. The objective is still the same, and that's what I think they've been trying to get across to people at this point. But not done so effectively enough for a certain contingent of the fan base, it would seem.
It's interesting, Buck, and they practice and have media availability while Blaine and me are on the air, but in every video and every interview and everything that I saw, the mood seems fantastic down there this week. They seem to just be it doesn't look like a team that's dragging towards the end of the season and has lost 6 games. I mean, they seem to be in a good place to go down there and mentally go down there and win this game.
Well, good place is a relative term, I think. But, yeah, given what the last 5 weeks previous to this have been, there's been no signs of life, right? It's been futile to a degree. And so just even the spark of the difference in quarterback, the ability of Josh Dobbs to come in and make some plays, to operate legitimately to some degree. I mean, he made some mistakes. He made some critical errors. He predetermined some throws. He put the ball in harm's way. He had some passes that were interceptable that didn't get picked. He threw a pick when they were driving. Now, that sounds like a quarterback that played poorly, right? But relative to expectation, like the guy went out there and did a pretty good job. So just that slight I almost hesitate to – I mean, I do hesitate to use the word confidence because we talked about that. They're professional athletes. Like, they're confident. That's half the deal with them. Irrational confidence with the professional risk takers. That's just what you need to be able to play football. If you did not have confidence, you would not last long at this level. But I do think that it has given them something to legitimately build off of, and how much progress they're able to make today remains to be seen. But they're going to give it their best. They're going to have their best opportunity to do so, given the help, the additional rest for some key contributors, and even in losing by double digits to the Jags in Week 14, Derrick Henry still got their asses a little bit. So it's not like that situation for them has been rectified, despite all of the recent success that they've had.
Yeah, I'm a little perplexed about all the positivity in the locker room. I kind of, and I think that's coming more from the media, but I don't know. I wasn't in the locker room. But as far as I'm concerned, and I'm wound up a lot different in today's modern-day society of players, I would be still perturbed. Mm-hmm. It would not be a happy day in our locker room, and there's nothing to be smiling about. Matter of fact, I'd be going around telling each player, what the heck are you smiling about? We lost 6 in a row. If you're not perturbed when you come over here and refocused at a level that you haven't focused, then get out. That's where I would be. So that I don't even get all this. I don't even understand it. I'm thinking, man, is this because of Hamlin and he's doing great, and so they're feeling great and positive? I mean, I don't know, because just because they feel like, oh, we got hope now, we got a quarterback. Well, I mean, you should believe, regardless of whoever's that quarterback, that you're gonna win. Seriously, I don't get it.
No, I totally understand. I understand what you're saying, Blaine, and even before the Damar Hamlin situation, in the post-game locker room on Thursday night, the vibes were generally better despite them still losing by 2 touchdowns. So you're spot on with it. The result is exactly the same. There was something slightly better than what they had been doing in previous weeks, and it was still but good enough to lose by 14 points. So, they still have plenty of issues, and we'll see what the real availability of some of these guys is today. Amani Hooker, Traylon Burks, Christian Fulton, all still questionable. So we're going to talk about them at some point. But yeah, right now I guess they're trying to get them. I don't think they have to get themselves up for the game, but it did feel different on Thursday night to me. There's no question. But they've just been wandering around in there like beat dogs the past couple of weeks.
Now, one thing I would be confident that we can beat this team, because if we don't turn the ball over, we really control the clock. Until all that happened, we had control of this game, and then we lost it. So it was on our own accord and not theirs. They caused them, but if we protect the football, guess what? We probably win this game. And that's all about, can make me feel a little bit better. But at the end of the day, you're getting paid to win games. And that's an L behind there. So everybody should be not happy. Yeah, but this is the modern day, and everybody's excited, and maybe just because Dobbs and what his presence that he brings into the locker room, let alone on the football field. But at the end of the day, I'd be like, but we still lost. He did do a better job than the last quarterback, but we lost, bro. I'm sorry. I'm not happy, so I want stink bombs all over the place.
Yeah. Well, let's get into more offensive talk for the Titans and some of these stink bombs when we come back. What's to expect from Josh Dobbs in start number 2? And if you want to join the discussion, you can do it. Zone TV chat is open. The phone lines are open, 615-737-1045. Buck is in Jacksonville. The rest of us back here in Nashville today, in cool and damp Nashville. So we'll be with you until 6 o'clock. Then we'll hand it off to Titans Countdown. They get you going all the way up to kickoff. Lee Company puts this show on the air, and we appreciate it. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical problems. They can protect your home, too. Your next play is to visit LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Lee Company countdown to kickoff on 104.5 The Zone. Thank you for hanging out with us all throughout the season, all the way until the last game of the season. Titans and Jags for all the marbles tonight in Jacksonville. Ought to be fun. Ought to be a great atmosphere. Tell you what else is fun, and that's dealing with the good folks at Lee Company. Facility managers need a reliable partner for their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs. They trust Lee Company's 24/7 service and their team of experts. Your next play is to visit leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Buck Reising in Jacksonville. Blaine Bishop, Mickey Ryan back here with a cast of thousands. And let's go to the phones because Malika Blaine has checked in. Super fan Malika, first caller of this final regular season show. Hello, Miss Malika. How are you?
Thanks for taking my call, guys. I have to tell you something about the NFL. I've been watching the NFL since 2002. I'm 31, and the Titans will be able to score and win. I have confidence in them. This is the thing: players these days have to have everything scripted. You have to act like this. You have to act like that. I think these days players just can't show their real feelings, and I think it's not fair. I think, like, when I started watching, you guys remember players showed more emotions, like more how they're really feeling, and I think this fakery in the NFL needs to, you know what I mean, Mickey and Blaine? Like, you know how Blaine was saying? So, yeah, tighten up.
Oh, she's talking about maybe they are just putting on a show just because that's how they have to.
You're right.
You know, they don't want them. Nah, yeah, it could be. I have no idea, but
well, they all got brands now, and they all got social media
it's a different time.
now,
that's why I say it's a different
and that's
time.
a good point by Malika.
Yeah, it was. So, you know, and I'm old school, so I don't know. Yeah, but Buck, I would love to hear what your thoughts on Malika's call, and that I'm not going to call it fake, but you know, maybe the players are putting on a persona, so there's no negativity in the locker room. Let's just say that.
Well, I mean, they're certainly not going to give voice to it in front of us.
That, I mean, you still can't be mad. I mean, you're upset.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's obvious frustration.
Yeah.
Right? And, and you know, I think Vrabel was the first to kind of, you know, put his name on it a little bit with the whole 8 to 4:30 player situation where he's, you know, just kind of hinting at the idea, maybe we need to work a little bit harder for some of these games and stuff like that. Or in our preparation, we need to love the preparation as much as we love the actual performance itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, with Malik, my God, like, I don't know, everybody watched the same thing. Like, we all know that it's insufficient. And at this point, you know, there has to be a recognition of, and there has been, obviously, and then making the decision on the quarterback. This is what we have. This is what we can't afford to do at this stage of the game. We need to do something different. We haven't. I mean, nobody's really, other than like 17 passing attempts against the Ravens while he was with the Steelers, nobody's really seen what Josh Dobbs can do. So that's kind of the spot that they're in right now. And you know, for Malik, they still need him, obviously. He's still the backup quarterback. He's just not good enough to be the starting quarterback yet. And how much better that makes him, or in the meantime, or as he continues to stay there in a reserve role, it's going to be incumbent upon him to keep the right mindset. And that's not an easy thing to do for rookies. I'm sure I don't have to tell you, Blaine.
Yeah, no doubt. I guess I wanted to ask you, I know we didn't have you on Friday. You're flying or what have you, getting ready to go. Is that, I mean, I felt like they called plays differently with Dobbs. I mean, is that an indictment on Malik Willis? Because it looked like they ran the regular offense. They may even ran more boots for him just because he's a little more mobile now than Tannehill because of the injury to the ankle of Tannehill. But I felt like they opened the playbook. What were your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, you're exactly right. Malik can't run the playbook. Like, that's the problem, right?
I'm running my playbook, and that way I got to say, hey, man, he can't run the playbook.
I got to see if he can run it.
Yeah, I got to see it. They never even gave him a shot. They didn't even believe he could do it.
No. Well, I mean, every time they're in 3rd and 9 and they throw a screen pass with Malik, Blaine, like that's just telling you that they're not going to put him in positions to be exceedingly exposed, and in so doing, really expose how limited of a player he is at this point. So, I think they did the best job they possibly could. You know, the outliers being Houston and Kansas City, where they did enough to keep things close, but obviously he couldn't really help them. Like he's not a factor out there. He has a rushing touchdown, fine, but like he can't run an NFL passing game. And coming into the league from, what I think amounts to most people in football would call like a ninth grade offense. Yeah, it's obviously going to be a much, much different scenario when you toss him out there in a road environment on Sunday Night Football the way that they've had to do and try and make do with what they've got.
One more question. It's just a direct question. And this is what the league does. They compare players to previous players. Does Malik Willis remind you of any former player? And it doesn't have to be a Titan, just any former player that played quarterback in the National Football League.
Oh,
because I couldn't think of one.
Well, it's interesting, right?
Because he's athletic, he can move. I mean, so you just start saying, well, okay, well, what is he?
And the names that get tossed around with him, Blaine, always do him such a disservice. I think from the standpoint of he's not Jalen Hurts, he's not Lamar Jackson. You can't. Jalen Hurts played at Alabama and Oklahoma for God's sakes. Lamar is a Heisman Trophy winning player, as the Jags score in the background of the stadium. It's nonsensical to kind of make those comparisons with this guy at that point. So no, I don't necessarily have a frame of reference because I've never seen a backup quarterback be so ineffective.
Wow, yeah, I'm stuck too. Just like I was hoping you could help me out there, Buck. Dang.
Well,
Sorry, buddy.
There was a stat, and I'd have to look back through my notes, Buck, but I read it. There was a quarterback in Tampa Bay, their first or second year of existence. I think it was 77, who was the last quarterback to start 3 games as a rookie and throw for no touchdowns and under 100 yards in all 3 starts.
Right. Well, that's statistic. That means his style is the same. But I mean,
that's just talking about his futility level. The only physical comp that I could come up with him was somebody like Drew Brees or Russell Wilson, just based on his size. Not
measurables. Yeah,
measurables. Yes,
yeah, measurables. Mm-hmm.
Just what he looks like, because those were 2 of the shorter guys who we've seen in the NFL for some time.
Definitely not on their level as a passer, but okay, I can see that.
No, and he's thick. He is physically built. There's no question. Russell's got that too.
Yep.
Brees a little different. Obviously, the stature similar, but it's not like a Kyler Murray. So the Jags are getting their pregame hype video going. I'm in the stadium right now, so I'm sure that my analysis with some theme music behind it is probably not great. But yes, Malik Willis at this point is I don't have a frame of reference for him because every time you try to look at a different quarterback, well, you look at him as a quarterback, and I'm not saying that Malik's not, but he's not yet, sure as hell, and we've all seen that in front of our faces each and every time they trot him out there in 8 different games and 3 starts.
One more question, and then this will be the last one on Malik Willis, and that is, do you think the Titans, and I'm just only getting this based off of what I saw from the Texans game where they used 2 quarterbacks, do you think we could see 2 quarterbacks out there and put Malik Willis out there at wide receiver and kind of make him a gadget guy in this game, or no?
God, I hope not. Every time they try something like that,
why? Because you think he's going to fumble?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's happened. We've seen it happen before.
No, put him out wide and throw him the ball. Throw him the ball.
Well,
you got those big quads.
I don't want him out there at all, Blaine. Don't put him on the field. I don't want to see that dude play football again until 2024, if I'm being completely honest with you.
2024.
Wait a second. It's 20. Okay.
It's an atrocity every time he's out there. And it's not it's not an indictment of him personally. I know those are strong words to use. But that is the fact. That is what the film tells you. The film tells you that this guy can't play right now. Yeah. And so, until such time as he's able to function, I don't want to see him on the field.
I was just trying to find a way to use his athleticism in some form or fashion.
Was he a J-Rob, we have to have this guy, or was he a Vrabel, we have to have this guy, or some combination of those things, or do you know?
Well, no, I know that they looked at the opportunity. I remember talking to John about this when we had the post-draft press conferences. And I guess that would have been the Friday, day 2, because Malik was a 3rd-round pick. It was a unique opportunity, right? This dude was talked about by smart football people as a 1st-round draft pick. Remember that? That was not that long ago.
Yeah.
No, hell no. But when he dropped to the 3rd round, and we all know the quarterback situation here. This was the offseason of Ryan Tannehill of 3 interceptions of they choked against the Bengals, blah blah blah. So if you have a unique opportunity in a situation like the Titans had at the time that looked to be much more beneficial for the development of a player like that, then they made a decision to try it. They shouldn't be penalized for trying it. It's a 3rd-round draft pick on a quarterback. The 1st-round draft picks at quarterback don't pan out with nearly any kind of like high hit rate. So it's just a flyer to me. And it wasn't even their first third-round pick. It was their second because they took NPF first. So when they traded back up to get Malik, I totally understood it. They were both in unison on it. And, you know, they tried it, and it hasn't worked yet. Yet being the operative word, because there's still plenty of time for this dude. But the clock on quarterbacks like that is constantly ticking, because what's the most valuable thing that the Eagles have going for them? Jalen Hurts' rookie contract. They can spend all this money to put all these different pieces and parts around Tua, right? Miami, that you could pay $25-30 million for a wide receiver and give those players on such a bargain basement value the best opportunity to succeed. And, you know, while Malik is different than any of those other players that we've described, it's still something that they have to be cognizant of, because every one of these quarterbacks has a ticking clock when they come in.
Mm-hmm. All right, Josh Dobbs is the guy who will get his second start. He's been here, less than 20 days, I think, at this point. What are both of your guys' expectations for him? And as both of you pointed out in the discussion earlier, he threw it 39 times last week. That's more attempts than Tannehill even had in a game all season.
That is correct. I mean, Blaine, I don't necessarily expect like a big leap by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I don't think it's going to look markedly different. I mean, the game plan might look markedly different because Derek will play at this point. Derek Henry removed from the injury report, and obviously so is Danico Autry, which is huge on the defensive side of the ball. But, like, I mean, the mistakes that he was making out there in his first true NFL start, I imagine we'll see a degree of those. And I think Treylon Burks matters in this discussion very, very much so. We don't have Inactives yet. He's questionable, and he popped up there with a groin injury. He was limited in practice on what that would have been Wednesday, and then DNP on Thursday. Vrabel acted like it was more precautionary, but like, what does that mean for his ability on the field? He gave Dobbs an incredible opportunity to make some plays, right? To have that threat to, you know, stay in bounds, to use what was just incredible balance to make plays down the field, to have contested catches, and all those things infinitely help a player like Dobbs in that spot. So I think Dobbs is as dependent on everything else around him right now. Theoretically, his pass protection will be a little better, but there's no guarantee that NPF plays in this game at this point either. I haven't heard anything about that other than he is still questionable, dealing with an ankle injury. And we all saw how much, you could legitimately find a worse player than Dennis Staley. He was on the right side. His name's LaRaven Clark, and he's not very good at football.
Oh, no. So you don't have any faith between NPF and Fulton. Which one do you think has the highest percentage to play in this game?
NPF and Fulton?
Yeah.
Oh, probably NPF. Fulton, the groin thing with Fulton, I mean, he was back at practice, and obviously, you know, those guys were limited throughout the course of the week, but I think they both got a pretty good shot. And obviously, I'm out here pregame now, and I'm keeping an eye out for guys who are coming out to warm up. So if I see either of those dudes, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But yeah, I think that NPF is probably a better bet than Fulton at this point. But I do anticipate seeing them both.
Blaine, it's interesting when it comes to Dobbs, there's literally a game of film now to scout him. So defensively for the Jags, I mean, there was really nothing last week. You had to go back to Pittsburgh from 3-4 years ago. If you're the Jags, there is fresh film on Dobbs at least to look at.
And that matters, right? I mean, that matters in a big way. They know what the Titans want to do with Dobbs, right? The things that he was successful with, the things that they tried that he was not successful with. They saw tendencies from him, and they got a big sample size because they got literally the largest number of passing attempts this team has had all season.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the Dobbs King together. And do they still run their offense, or does it become Henry left, Henry right? And if it's not being effective, are we going to keep going down the road now knowing that you can run your full-fledged of offensive plays with Dobbs in the game? Or do you keep it balanced like you did with Tannehill to a certain extent before he was injured, where you were throwing the ball between 20 and 25 times and Henry was getting carries from between 20 and 25? Because Mickey has some stats here when he gets, I think, 27 carries or so?
Well, when Henry has 18-plus carries against the Jags, the Titans are 6-0. If he's anything less than that, they're 3-3.
Right.
Now, I always kind of take, and as we all do, right? We always take numbers like that with a grain of salt because there's historical context that for the same reason that we don't factor in things that happened in other games to this particular matchup. Like that's the kind of thing that you got to keep in mind, but it does matter, right? Like Derek is hugely successful against the Jacksonville Jaguars, no matter who they're trotting out there. And I do think that, like the Jags having to shut down Dwayne Smoot, their defensive tackle, who doesn't get a lot of love nationally, but has been a really, really solid player for them for several years at this point. That does factor into this. So, if they give the Jags opportunities, short fields, turnovers, to cash in and then further separate the score, we know that takes Derek out of the game. Now, whether they're willing to take Derek out of the game at that point, the way that they weren't we've talked about this the last time, right? The 2 tight ends, an extra 6 offensive linemen, Derrick Henry on first down, and you're down by 2 touchdowns because the Jags marched right down the field, got points before halftime, and then came out after the third quarter, or at the start of the third quarter, and had it was like a 79-yard drive to score. And the Titans football till the death, baby. That's what they do.
Derrick Henry does have an extra week of rest in between. So whatever version of him you're getting, it is at least the most rested version of him that you could get right now. Hopefully the freshest of legs for Derrick Henry, will be a factor. They didn't play him against Dallas. There was a reason for it. Well, tonight we found out how much that will pay off.
Buckaroo. Did he go? Oh, I don't hear any music, so he may not be on.
It just got dead quiet.
Yeah. Well, what I'll say about that, and I think, as we mentioned it on our show, the Blaine and Mickey show, is that, that rest is going to be very beneficial. Now, he still has to get some block. He needs some help. He can't run through, a brick wall. So, but I think he will be revved up. He's going home, a lot at stake. He fumbled last time he played him. There's a lot to prove and get motivated for the King, who's on another level as far as motivation and competitive nature and what he is in this league and to this organization. So I think we're going to see the best we could see of Derrick Henry in this game. Yeah, there's that. Then missing a game, that they about to be in trouble. And if they don't stop him early and often, this may be a 30-piece carry game, because if they didn't turn the ball over the last game, you saw what he was doing. What he had, 96 yards or something, whatever it was in the first quarter.
In the first quarter,
he might have got 200. If they don't turn the ball over, they would have kept running him. And I imagine they believe if we don't turn the freaking ball over and we have a better passing game this time, we win this game just by running Derrick Henry. The only reason why they stopped running him is because they got behind. To a certain extent. I mean, the Jaguars did play a little bit better there on defense, but still, in a quarter? Man, I don't know about you. I've watched a lot of games. Very rarely have I ever seen somebody get almost 100 yards in a quarter. So
we've seen Derek do it, right? He's got a 99-yard touchdown run.
Right.
That
was I ain't seen that since Tony Dorsett.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, and honestly, we talked about that. We touched on the Jags hype video earlier, and they have a little bit in there about forcing a fumble on Derrick Henry, and it's time to dethrone the King, and all those things. And one would imagine that made its way to the Titans meeting room before this game at some point, as they gather in a convention hall in the Jacksonville hotel that they're staying at, because Jags feeling themselves, rightfully so. But if as the line goes from the wire, if you come at the King, you better not miss.
Yeah, we used to have fans come in the hotel, man, and put an alarm at like 3 a.m. So we had to go outside.
Well, maybe that's what happened to me, because I can't get out. I still haven't been in my damn hotel room. I had to go shower at Lucas's today.
We appreciate that personal information that we did not need to know.
Hey, listen, boys, I tell you all the time, we spend entirely too much time together, and now we're borderline showering together.
Yeah. All fun and fun.
Sounds like it with you, too. All right, let's do this. Buck, it sounds like you have found a quieter spot. I don't hear Gangsta's Paradise playing in the background anymore.
It's a matter of time.
So one more segment coming up with Buck, and then we'll fly you with the Blaine and Mickey experience for the final hour of the show. When we come back, we'll roll through Buck's best bets. We got a game going on right now. Kansas City is beating the Las Vegas Raiders as the ball goes to the uprights, 21-3. in that one. That's the only game besides the Titans and Jags today. So, Buck's best bets, as well as, the one that makes everybody money, Mickey's Money Makers. That's all coming up next. Lead Company Countdown to kick off. Lead Company, all you need. Visit them online at leadcompany.com. Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. One more segment here with Buck Reising. Then the final hour of this program, Blaine Bishop, Mickey Ryan. We will just keep you right on trucking until 6 o'clock. That's when we'll hand it off to Coach Mack and Mike Keith and Rhett Ryan and Titans Amy and Phil Noel and Brad Willis and the whole crew, man, as they'll have you boots on the ground in Jacksonville for the final hour and 15 or so. And then all throughout the game, as we have arrived, well, in the year 2023 and in the final game of the 22-23 season. But you know what the kids have been clamoring for the most all season? It's this segment of this show when Buck does things and then I make you money. But let's start with Buck's best bets.
Look at me. Your money. You know what else? You're a big winner tonight. I'm going to ask you a simple question. I want you to listen. Who's the big winner here tonight?
Buck Reising.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
It's my money and I need it now.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Dollar, dollar.
I love it.
Let's milking this for all it's worth today.
Are you there, Buckster?
It may be the last time for this season. We'll find out tonight when the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars play. So let's start there in your Superbook Sports app. I got the Jags at home -6 tonight against the Titans. That's the line. It is an interesting game for a variety of reasons. We know the circumstances. It is win and in for both teams, even though there is still a scenario on the table based on some results that may happen tomorrow that where the Jags could sneak in as a wild card, which would be insane if the AFC South had two playoff teams after all of this. Just grossness. Yes, Blaine,
Yep.
That is something that is still in play
Yep.
at this stage of the year. It's why the NFL stays as competitive as it does. But as far as this game is concerned, give me the Tennessee Titans plus the 6 points. I would bet them on the money line plus 235 to Derrick Henry, like Batman coming back to Gotham City. He runs this place. He is an unbelievable force, and the Jags defense are not exactly an immovable object anytime that they play him. I feel good about the Titans' chances tonight. But, it's probably as good, Blaine. It's like, being happy in the locker room after a 14-point loss just because you saw a different quarterback play. Just because I feel better about them doesn't mean that they're in a better position to succeed. But we will certainly find out soon enough, gentlemen.
All right, Buck, let's keep it rolling. What else you got?
I got can I interest you in Skylar Thompson, quarterback of the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah.
From Kansas State?
Exactly
That's
right.
the same guy? No.
That is exactly right. Versus not Zach Wilson, who will be sitting the bench as the second overall pick, but Joe Flacco, former Super Bowl MVP.
Must watch
Jets
TV.
and the Dolphins at this point. When you check it out on Superbook Sports, the current favorite in this game is Miami at home -3. Now, an interesting note before we talk about this game, actually, the Dolphins are on a pretty substantial slide themselves. Titans have lost 6 in a row, but the Dolphins have done nothing but lose basically since they got to 8-3 on the season. And I was reading Albert Breer's hot stove coaching Black Monday on the horizon for fired NFL coaches coming up at the start of next week. Mike McDaniel was a slick name that he slid in there as somebody who could potentially be on the chopping block after starting as, the odds-on favorite to win Coach of the Year earlier in the season. I would take Miami in this spot. Skylar Thompson is, he's obviously the third-string quarterback behind Tua and Teddy, but he was able to get a lot done. In fact, he was the best passer in the preseason. Now, that doesn't mean much against NFL scheme defenses, but the Jets are already eliminated. I'd take the Dolphins -3.
Wow.
That'll be real interesting to see how it all works out. More quarterbacks have started games this year, I think, than in any year in modern NFL history, I think. So add Skylar Thompson to the list.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know what Daniels was to be on the chopping block if they lost this or maybe if they don't make the play. So I'm cheering against the Dolphins here because guess why? I want to hire him as the OC.
Chess, not checkers, Buck. Chess.
Well,
He
the
may get
current one
another
is
head coaching job, but I'm make my bid for OC for the Titans.
the Titans' current one is doing laps in front of me right now. So, maybe say
Oh,
a
my.
softer Blaine.
Well, tell him I said hi.
I sure will, and then I'll tell him you said bye.
Yes.
The final one on the board for the best bets before we get to some Mickey's Money. Here's, and again, all of this made possible by Superbook Sports. You can download the app and get in on the action ahead of the NFL games tomorrow as well. An AFC South irrelevancy battle. Can I interest you, gentlemen, in the Texans and the Indianapolis Colts in Indy in the regular season finale for both teams? The NFL's worst team in the Texans, good enough to beat the Titans not that long ago, but still hanging on to that number one overall pick as far as the teams who should actually care about their draft positioning, the Texans, not the team that's playing for a potential postseason spot today, like a sizable contingent of Titans fans keep trying to bring up to us on social media. But the Colts are currently 3-point favorites right now. Nick Foles obviously knocked out of this game. They went back to the Texas quarterback Ellinger when Kayvon Thibodeau was doing snow angels next to Nick Foles with shattered ribs, writhing in pain and getting called classless.
No, he was hurt.
He doesn't know who Jeff Saturday is, okay? You can't critique him if he doesn't know who you are.
Oh, he doesn't know who he said that? That's
Yes,
funny.
he said that. I don't know who he is. I don't care what anybody says about me if I don't know who they are. He doesn't know who Jeff
said that-
Saturday is. If he has cable TV, he should know who Jeff Saturday is. Let's
Well,
listen
yeah,
to
but
you.
he's 20 years old. The chances of him having cable TV are slim to none, Nick.
Well,
I mean,
I mean,
hell, I'm
if he has-
29. My friends barely have cable TV.
If he has the ESPN app, he should know Jeff Saturday is. He's on there all the time. Well, he was till he was on there for losing football games.
Well, either way, that makes me kind of love Kayvon Thibodeau. But I do. He's not playing in this game. It's the Texans and the Colts, and I would take the Texans plus the 3 on the road. They're a bad football team. We all know this, but they have made legitimate strides in continuing to have losing results, except the one that they got on the road against the Titans.
Do the Texans need to lose this to keep the number 1, or do they win or lose either way? Does it matter?
So they have 2 wins on the season. Chicago, I believe, is still at 3. So in theory, they would need to hold serve as far as sucking is concerned and continue to, bottom dwell down there if they want to hold on to. I don't think they're locked in, but you might fact check me on that, Jackson.
Houston is 2-13-1, and the Bears are 3-13.
Yeah, so one less loss. If they both had 3 wins, that would, I think, tiebreaker goes to Chicago in that spot.
Okay, I want Houston to win and botch this. Although the Bears aren't going to draft Bryce Young, so
But somebody could trade up the day. Yeah.
because the Bears wouldn't want him. So yeah, just whatever causes the most chaos for both of those squads, I'm rooting for.
Well, I think it will be a decidedly sloppy mess when they take the field at Lucas Oil, who, by the way, turned down hosting the AFC Championship game, the neutral side AFC Championship game. Did you guys see that story? That was wild. I just saw Fox 59 up in Indianapolis reporting that Lucas Oil was like, "Nah, we're good."
They already scheduled a Cool in the Gang concert or something.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I mean, Cool in the Gang is filling up Lucas Oil. Then we in the year of 2023 at this point, I think that would be interesting. But Jim Irsay sure as hell hasn't hosted a home playoff game in that building since 2014. So I think he could use a little extra scratch.
Indiana native Buck Reising taking shots at the Colts here. All right, speaking of shots, let's take our shots with Mickey's Moneymakers. Ka-chow!
Make us.
Yes, you can love me for many reasons, but go on and love me for the money. Let's ride. Mickey's Moneymakers. Derrick Henry. A lot of times, his over-under for rushing yards is right at 100 yards or more. It's only 92.5. If he doesn't get 92.5 rushing yards tonight, then the night will be the longest night in the history of
They
this.
lose if they done.
92.5. Give me the over. Cha-ching for Derrick Henry rushing yards of 92.5. Now, go ahead, Bucko.
Yeah, Buck, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I'd absolutely cash that one because that's not been the problem for them, right? It's just whether it's the situation where he's trying to figure out if the sleeves are actually impacting his ability to
Stop that.
protect. What do you mean, Blaine? Tell him to stop it. He took the sleeves off.
Tell him to
Here, I'm going to give you an analogy. That's just like a receiver drop a ball and they take the gloves off like it was the gloves' fault.
100% those
Stop
gloves.
that, Henry.
These gloves aren't
Hey, man,
sticky
he
the
doesn't know
enough.
sleeves
what's
all
going on.
year. Come on, bro.
It's literally like somebody's reading. It's literally like he read his Twitter mentions. He's like, I never thought of that before. Maybe I dropped the sleeves. Maybe I hang on to the football better. Who's to say?
He had to come up
But
with
yeah,
something.
92.5 yards against the Jags for Derrick Henry. That sounds like an infinitely reasonable number.
Also, give me this one. Chig over 26.5 receiving yards. I know he didn't play much against Dallas last week for some odd reason. He played 16 snaps, which is his lowest total since week 5. Let me tell you, I think that was planned. It was a mini rest week for Chig. They're resting him so he doesn't hit the rookie wall, Blaine. You know that's right.
Oh,
Chig
Buck.
had 6 catches on
believe
6
that?
targets the last time they played the Jags. He had a TD. He had the 2-point conversion. Chig will have at least 27 yards tonight. Cha-ching, cash that. Bet the college fund on it.
That's an interesting theory, and I don't outright dispute it. Although I would say that it would be an interesting strategy to do that with the rookies, Burks, and I don't remember Burks' snap down off the top of my head, but I would think that you would want to get those guys as many reps as humanly possible instead of trying to, handle them with kid gloves, for lack of a better term. But either way, I think that we haven't really seen what Chig can do with Dobbs yet. We've seen what Chig can do with the ball in his hands when they get it to him, and that was something that Malik was able to do in spurts, to his credit. How Dobbs utilizes him is going to be a big part of this. 26.5 is an interesting number. I'd probably go under.
All right, we'll see how this turns out. Here's my final one. Trevor Lawrence, over 265.5 passing yards. He had 368, which was his career high by more than 30 yards the last time these teams played. I don't know if the Titans can hold him 102.5 yards less than the last time. Certainly less than 368, but 265.5, I feel like no matter what, especially as well as the Titans stop the run, that the Jags will be like, okay, then we'll just throw it everywhere. I feel like win or lose tonight for the Titans, that Trevor Lawrence will beat 265.5 passing. I think he'll throw it 40 times if he has to.
Man, Blaine, they picked apart that zone defense that the Titans like to run, and obviously they run a lot more man on third down, especially when they go into their extra defensive back looks. But they found ways to get Evan Ingram the football. They found holes in the zone to be able to exploit that, and obviously we talked about Trevor Lawrence's ability to get rid of the football very, very quickly this season. A substantial jump from his rookie year. Now that he has actual competent coaching around him, I would take the over on that number too.
Yeah.
Buck, we know you got a food buffet in the press box to check out. You've got a hot tub to test the water pH balance in. If you're right there, Trevor Lawrence is walking in the stadium as we speak. You may bump into him. He's wearing a nice denim shirt and some sunglasses.
Hey, looks like he's going to his private high school or something.
Sunshine.
Yeah, sunshine.
He does. Bucko, enjoy the game tonight. Been fun doing these this year, and Blaine will handle this final hour. If you find out any dirt on who's playing or anything like that, text us and let us know in real time so we can get that information out.
Yeah, because we'll say Lucas told us.
100%. We'll give you credit.
You, of course, will be the first to know, boys. Have a good rest of the show. I'll talk to you on Monday.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it, man.
One and only Buck Reising in Jacksonville, where the Titans will play tonight right around 7:15 kickoff. And 104.5 The Zone has you covered up until then. Always courtesy of our friends at Lee Company. We got another hour coming up. Stick and stay. Jump on the phones. Thad in White House. Straight to you when we come back. Just hold, my man. Anybody wants to join Thad, 615-737-1045. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com.
I'm grilling.
This is the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff on 104.5 The Zone. I almost said Blaine and Mickey because it is Blaine and Mickey for the final hour of the show. And Action Jackson,
true.
Joe Hunk here. We're all in studio back in Nashville.
We got Big Joe.
Appreciate Lee Company
go.
for all that they do to keep us on the air. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical problems. They can protect your home, too. Your next play, visit LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Once upon a time, the Titans head coach, Jeff Fisher, said the Titans had another home stadium that was once called Alltel. That is where the Jacksonville Jaguars still play to this day, which, by the way, they want to renovate that thing for $1 billion. The Titans actually, the Jaguars actually made a hype video. Jackson said it's John Henderson, former Vol, in the video. It was a long time as a first-round draft pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars and a fantastic football player. He's getting them all hyped, and in the background is a video.
Do we have any of the
Jeff
audio?
Fisher.
Come on, Jackson. Come. Yeah,
Jackson
your
says
fingers
he's
moving
getting
fast. Yeah.
Okay. Jackson is getting the video. In the meantime, in between time, this is your show too. Thad from White House. I told him if he holds,
Cool.
we'll just start this second hour with Thad. Thad, thanks for your patience.
What's going on, Thad?
Man, sitting back here waiting on this game. You guys hear me?
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Yeah, we got you, man. Yeah, so it's twice daily. I mean, Dennis daily. My bad.
I'm old turnstile, right?
Yeah.
Man, I just want to throw a couple things out. I'm well aware that this might be the last time I see my team play this week. And I'm calling into you guys. Number one, Mickey Ryan. Man, you're my favorite, dude. You're my absolute favorite. You know, bass player to bass player. I appreciate your insight. I appreciate your music love. You know what I mean? Number two, I wanted to throw something out to actually the OG KB when he was on yesterday. I couldn't get through. I remember a time where I seen Keith Bullock, OG KB, grab Finnegan by his face mask, right? He was acting away and grabbed him by his face mask, and from my point of view, set him straight, you know. And that was one of those things that made Mr. Bullock, Mr. Monday Night, one of my favorite players. And I wanted to ask Blaine what he thought about that. And number three, I wanted to touch bases on the cats that say we're supposed to lose. The cats that say we're supposed to lose, we don't lay down to nobody. I was 14 years old when the Music City Miracle happened. I was a Raiders fan because they wore black. I was a Packers fan because of Brett Favre when I was a kid. And then we got a team, and I seen the Music City Miracle happen. And from there on, it's Titans above all. Titans above all. We don't lay down to nobody. And I'll tell you who we don't lay down to is the bleep, Jaguars.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Thad, love you
Tighten
too.
up.
You're my favorite too, Thad.
Right.
Thank you for the
All
phone
right.
call.
A bass player, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Gotta
Oh, yeah.
stick
No,
together.
KB is definitely the OG because it was all the things that I did. It passed down to him.
Right.
He got to play with him for 3 years. So no doubt. Yeah, I remember that incident. I think it was, when Cortland was kind of one of the bad boys of the National Football League, really. One of the agitator type. That was his style, and that was the way he went about his business, which worked for a long time. But when it starts hurting the team, you start getting penalties. Somebody's got to be able to put him in check, regardless of how good of a player he was. And KB was that guy. He had the old school mentality, and that's what made him so great, and always rose to the occasion. So in my mind, he was over his career throughout. I've said this multiple times, was the best defensive player in Titans history, and not in a one season accord. We got Kurz, you got Big Albert, those guys on defense that played phenomenal and will win your deal. But over their career, I would say KB. The OG KB is number one right now. Now the new KB may take over that spot, so I don't know, depending on how much longer he goes.
27 interceptions now for Kevin Byard after last week. And you and I brought him up some, and you always talk about, the people voting for all the things that happen for you after you play. You look at numbers. Haven't you mentioned like 30 interceptions maybe for Byard being the number that probably puts him on some people's radar for
Hall of Fame? No question. Yeah, you get to 30 and 30, you're definitely going to be at least, I would say, nominated.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say you'll get in, but I think you're on the radar. For sure. I think Rodney Harrison is on that plane. I think he has 30 interceptions and 30 sacks. So there's some guys who statistically, and perform well and are on winning teams, Super Bowl contending teams. I might be off a little bit. You could fact checked on that, but I think he definitely will be worthy of some consideration. So, yeah.
I was wondering how many sacks KB had. That was
that probably, but for a guy who's a free safety, more a ball hawk guy, I don't think that's really impacts his chances of getting in. I really don't.
27 interceptions though now for Kevin Byard. Had 8 in his second year, which was remember people saying this guy's had all these interceptions at middle. He doesn't have 8. Then the next year he had 8. Yeah. he just he was burst onto the scene.
Impressive. Smart football player with all the talent and the moxie and the confidence and just all the intangibles that you need. It's just all, the things that you can't measure. So, obviously, the Titans got it right. So, they got him.
Got it right with him for sure.
For that,
Jackson has been hustling, Blaine. I don't know if we need to hear the whole – it's only a minute or so.
Is it? Okay.
But this is
90 seconds.
90 seconds. Why not? 90 seconds. Here's the Jags hype video. Let's see if this gets any of you guys and gals hyped up.
It's time, Duval.
Well, some have said we've had 5 home stadiums in 4 years if you would include Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville.
It's all on the line. We wouldn't want it any other way. In 12 days, the script flipped. Titans. We'll get to them in a second. Happy trails, Cowboys. So long, Jets. We're holding our heads a little higher these days. Even if it is just to keep the hair out of our eyes. So what? Now what? We ain't done nothing yet. This division can be ours, but one team stands in our way. I hate the Titans. Shoot, we all remember 99. At some point, you get sick and tired of getting punched in the mouth.
Lost the football. Ingram holds up.
It's our time to take back the AFC South and knock the king off his throne. Tonight, we show the world who we are. So get on your feet. Because it's prime time, baby, in Duval.
Wow, that gave me a little bit of chill bumps there. I would have been like, okay, we about to take these dudes down. Let's go. Yeah, that was it. You sure that was John Anderson? I thought that was Leon Cersei. Sound like him.
I thought it was Cersei. Jackson said he thought it was Big John Henderson.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know when we do the radio, you've been on radio with them over there. That sound like his voice, but and he definitely talked about he wanted revenge from the time we beat them. He told me that on air.
None of them hide from that.
Yeah, so that sounded like him, but I haven't heard John Henderson talk in a long time, so I could be mistaken. But, they got me a little juiced up. I'm sure they may play that in the warm-ups.
100% they are. He tells people get on their feet. They're playing that right before kickoff.
Yeah, that's going to – yeah, so we shall see if they make some mistakes too juiced up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a pick.
Yeah, that's
pick
actually
six.
Leon. There's somebody, a Jags fan here saying that this is Leon who did it. We thought it was him.
Yeah, that definitely sounded like him. Yeah, he was a mean son of a gun, boy. Mm-hmm. I knew you were going to get that Duval. Yeah, he talked about that. He said, Blaine, I have to tell you, I am still pissed, and we're getting revenge 20 years later. I said, Leon, come on, man. No, you can't get it back. He's like, yes, we will.
If I was you and your teammates, I don't even know if I would order a drink in Jacksonville. I'd be afraid somebody put something in it because they are all still mad about that. I mean, Blaine, it's 2023, and they just made a hype video with Jeff Fisher in it.
Hey,
it's 2023.
Yeah. Well, I can say I don't like the Ravens, which, I told him, all of us had our kryptonite.
Yep.
And the Ravens were our kryptonite. We were there. So, but I can't say that I think we're getting revenge. I'm still not wanting us to lose to the Ravens, but I get it, so it's all fun and game. You know what? That just made me want. I wish some of the known name guys, we all flew down there with the Titans, and we were like on the front row somewhere where everybody see us, and me, Eddie, whoever out you want to put, Mason, and, the crew, Sanders, and
Well,
Eddie.
KB wasn't original. KB came the next year.
We Chris Sanders. So I wish and all of us there. That would have been unique.
Yeah. Well, that would have been absolutely fantastic because everybody in there would know.
And Fishbone, by the way. Mm-hmm. Yep, and Fishbone.
Boy, I wish you would have thought about this, a couple days earlier, because that could have been put together.
Well, if I would have told, the Titans, they wouldn't have done it. If I would have told Eddie to tell them, then it might have got done.
Okay. He was hanging out in the locker room just this week.
Yeah. Or he would have just went.
Right. Oh, fishing me will go. That's a great idea, Blaine. Fishing me will go down there and get on the sideline.
There was other dudes on the team, wasn't it?
Hey, man, we're going to get Javon to meet. That's a great idea, Blaine.
Yeah, right there in Florida.
Get Javon down there. Yeah. It wouldn't be much of a drive.
Yeah. We go back and watch that. Yeah, so I think Sirs had a good game versus the Curse in that game. You hear him tell the story.
Sirs versus Curse. Yeah. What's crazy, and you and I were talking about this game Friday, they had 6 turnovers in that game. The Jags had 6. The Titans had 4.
Yeah, I remember somebody said on the dealio on the chat that I love how Mickey knows all the stats that Blaine played in the game. If I was actually out there on the defense, I don't know every single play. I almost forgot I caused a fumble, but it didn't count in my mind because we didn't recover it. Yeah, so I remember all the plays in that game, actually. Yeah.
Well, that is something that needs to happen. If the Titans can get their hands on, if they can knock a football out today, they haven't been great.
Especially early. That's what I'm saying. I think the Jags may be juiced up.
Yep.
Early in the game.
Yep.
And that's when you make mistakes. As ours truly, Eddie George used to say, controlled rage is at the beginning of the game. And if they young bucks are not controlled, you're going to make some mistakes. You will be playing with a race, but you're going to make mistakes.
Crowd's going to be hyped. They're going to play that video with Leon. They're all going to be going bananas. Make them make a mistake early. Have a nice drive to make them sit down and be quiet, if they could, because they did at home. The Titans did at home. They started out the game and ran it right down their throat.
Oh, it was beautiful. Then all of a sudden, boom, they let the air out.
With their own
turnovers.
No
turnovers.
0. And no false starts, Daily. No false starts. False starts.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say every break. No turnovers, no offsides. False starts.
Let's hit up Andy in Donaldson, who wants to talk about this game. This pregame show brought to you by Lee Company. All you need, visit them online at leecompany.com. What's happening, Andy?
What do you say, fellas? Who's excited?
We're dang excited. Listen to us, man.
You hear that, opening deal by Cersei and the Jags? Yeah, that just got me hyped. I had chill bumps, seriously. Like, man, that hadn't happened to me in a minute.
So sorry, brother. I just told the fella answering the phone, I'm certain that's Henderson because he says Duval like he does to Slay all the time. But no, I was wrong. I'd have bet money that was Henderson.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen Henderson even say that in video. So,
okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to continue giving you guys your flowers. First, thank you so much for doing all this. Mickey, I love you too. I figure we got to put a band together to play out the stadium. I'll put the bass down. You can grab it. Blaine, I was wondering if you'd run bouncing inventory because the ladies are running up on Mickey. We're going to need somebody to keep them off the
I'll
stage.
just be the hype guy and the get back guy. Get back away from Mickey.
You haven't heard Blaine sing, Andy. You don't even know what this man is capable of.
Yeah, that's why we have this guitar.
Well, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So are you a bass player too?
Ready to hear it.
Yeah. I don't think we want to hurt people's ears.
I do want to say I had a dream last night, Blaine, and I think you'll find it hilarious, and I'll let you guys go. You walked Fisher out onto the field into the 50-yard line and said it's great to be at home stadium number 2 to start the game. Then to hear you talk about it today.
There's no way I could do it.
Have a great game tonight. Love you guys.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why Fishbone needs to go. Yeah, he will set the tone.
Look, man,
sure.
They put it in their hype video. What's it that the people say rent-free?
I mean, they played it live while we were there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Then he said that was his own. I was like, Because I'm so focused, I ignored that happened during, and so with game day, I'm like, oh crap, he said that. Oh man, I better double strap up my chin straps. These dudes gonna try to come after and get us, man. We talking about this whole field. Come on, I look at Bo like, what? Like, yeah, man, this our whole field. We don't lose here. I said, I know, but don't tell them.
What's the phrase? Rent free? 23 years now.
Oh man,
it's January of 2000. It's January of 2023. They're still mad about that clip. That's amazing. Mike in the Borough. Man, love all the phone calls tonight. Y'all keep them coming. It's making this a fun show. Mike in the Borough up next. Hey, Mike.
Hello, guys. How are y'all tonight?
Fantastic.
What's going on, Mike?
Just ready, hyped up, tighten up. Listen, this is the last chance we got to beat this boy, Mr. Lawrence. He's going to be something else. So this is Henry's year to get his ring. Josh can get us there. We got the tools. We've seen pieces of it all year long. So we just need somebody to keep them from keying on Henry. And Josh can do it. He can do it enough. So let's go tighten up. I think we got it this year. Rock and roll. Y'all got it,
Mike.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's it, man. They just play their style of game, Vrabel, and then no turnovers. Then let's see where we're at. I think we'll be on top. They do that. So we don't know what they got game plan for Mr. Dobbs. What was his major? I can't even say it.
Oh, I think it has been said many times. It involved rockets and science.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, they don't know they're gonna change up on them. So they don't have some plan for them boots and everything else. I want to know what the counter's gonna be. Got to have something else.
Josh Jacobs only has 34 yards rushing in this game for the Raiders, so that puts him, he's probably around 200 ahead of Derrick Henry, who didn't play last week.
Yeah, that's it. He's not getting the rushing title. But he is going to get a record. You mentioned it the other day. I mean, 15 TDs and 1,500 yards. Oh, my.
He's 71 yards away from 1,500.
What the heck?
He's 2 touchdowns away from 15 touchdowns. If Derrick Henry gets the 71 yards, which, guys and gals, if he doesn't get 71, y'all prepare yourselves for a long night. When he hits 71, if he can get 2 touchdowns, he will be the only human being in NFL history who has 3 seasons of 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns. Like that's Jim Brown didn't do it. Walter Payton didn't do it. Emmitt Smith didn't do it. It would only be the king.
Right. No, behind this offensive line. That is like before the season, I said, oh, he probably rushed for 1,500 yards. If I would have known all this was going to happen to the offensive line, I would have, I don't know, 13 at it. Yeah. So, and missing a game with that. So, yeah, he would have been the rushing champ again, I would assume, or really close to that. But some of these numbers now are putting him on a whole nother plane as far as where he stacks up in NFL history versus all the greats. So, yeah, he just has a couple more years of 1,500 or more. He doesn't even have to have the 15 TDs. He's going to be sitting right where he needs to be. Yeah. I think then I will be sold. There's no way. You can have some records in the NFL, even though it didn't happen, but he's done it continuously year after year after year. But I think 1 or 2 more will put him in a plane where it's a given that he gets into the Hall of Fame. And he's one of them. And he's definitely a great one. But, man, this is pretty remarkable.
Phone's ringing off the hook tonight, 615-737-1045.
Aerospace engineering, thank you.
Yeah, that's
Tennessee Tim.
Tennessee Tim with the proper terminology. We don't want to short Joshua Dobbs with his true major.
He's going to take off.
Angel in Clarksville flies into the show next. Hello, Angel.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
You tell
What's
us.
happening? Tighten up. Let's go.
Man, that's it. Look, I ain't got nothing else to say but tighten up. That's it. I'm tightening up, and I'm going to listen. I'm on my way from Franklin back to Clarksville to watch this game. I'm racing. I'm in traffic right now. But I just want to say I love y'all, man. Listen to y'all damn near every day. Tighten up, baby. This is a big one for our franchise, man. We about to make some magic happen, man.
Yeah.
Tighten
got to
up.
get this stink off our back with these losses. What is it, 7 in a row?
It'd be 7 if they lose it. Angel, be safe on that piece of interstate out there, man. That's wild.
Only 6 is going to stop.
You want me to give you something else?
You got some more?
No, I'm going to save all the numbers. I got numbers out the yin-yang of if this happens and if this happens, but I'll give you one for this because this hasn't happened since 2005. The Titans have not swept the Jags in a season since 2005. They win tonight. They will have done it again.
Oh, the Jags.
The Jags have not swept the Titans in a season since 2005.
Yeah, that's a stink bomb stat. I don't care about the Jaguars. They're not sweeping them. Come on. Let's go.
Let's get somebody named Colt is calling into a Titans pregame show.
What?
I got to see what this is about.
You from Naptown? You from Indy?
What's up, Colt?
Man, that's my
Or is
real
this code
name.
4?
Why y'all
This code
hating?
4?
Oh, we love it. We were just worried you might be a spy for Jim Irsay checking in on the show.
No, absolutely not. I think the Titans have the recipe. Don't let us in these playoffs because we get this defense healthy, and we get the King going, and we get Dobbs managing the game.
Yes.
I'm telling you, we could make a run. It's all about the defense, and it's all about getting healthy. Don't let us win this game because I promise you we're about to go on a run.
So, hey, Colt.
Great point there by Colt on managing the game by Dobbs and not feeling like he has to be the one to take us there. Just manage the game.
That's it. Hey, Colt, are you calling from Memphis?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you. I'm always curious. Anytime somebody calls from Memphis, I ask them this. What's your favorite barbecue in Memphis?
In Memphis. You have one?
It's not Rendezvous. I promise you that.
I know. Nobody local says that. So what is it?
You name 2 or 3.
Honestly, I mean it's a little bit commercial, but Central Barbecue before it got big, that's still my go-to.
Okay.
Central.
I appreciate it, Colt. See, everybody, Memphis people know, so I just want people to know, and people like Colt call in that there's.
I know you're a foodie. You heard of Central?
Oh yeah.
Oh, see,
they actually have one here. Yeah.
Oh.
A lot of people in Memphis like Tops. Central's another one that checks in. So I've done this before. Memphis people call in. They always get asked about barbecue. Let's get Willie.
Speaking of that, buddy of mine lives in Memphis that played for the Jags. Chris Hudson.
All right. I don't.
To Colorado, won Thorpe Award.
Well, I don't know him, but
we remember him playing.
He's probably eating at Central Barbecue right now.
Maybe.
Willie in Franklin checks in next. Hey, Willie.
Hey, buddy. How you doing? Just it's funny you talking about barbecue. Hold on, I'm getting my wife's prescription from Publix. Just a second.
Man. Just get us a barbecue with that too. Okay.
I just pulled about 30 pounds of Boston butt off my green eggs. It's funny.
Willie, you gonna tell us that and not drop some by the radio station? We need to have a talk, man.
I'll DM you my address. Y'all come on, watch the game. We're out in the pavilion, got a fire lit up. So come on.
Dang, he said I want to go to Club Willie to see the game. So you're bragging on food and picking up medicine. What else you got for us?
Well, he said he's going to Arnold's too before the day's up.
I think if you zoom in on the fashion show pictures they took of getting on the airplane, Dobbs had his iPad with the home screen of NASA on it. You zoom in, so he's called the big dogs for the playbook. So Downing's on the sidelines. We got NASA calling the plays, it looks like.
Dobbs is going to be calling plays. Oh, I like
it.
I like it.
Y'all be good, man. Tighten up.
Well, enjoy the evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Aerospace engineering.
Let's get one more. We got time for one more. Tony in Hendersonville. He says he wants to call his shot. He missed his chance yesterday on Blaine and Mickey, so he's doing it now with Blaine and Mickey. Tony, thank you for calling.
Oh, man, it's so awesome to get to listen to y'all 6 days. I was tied up yesterday, so I wasn't able to call in and do it. But, man, hey, real quick, the best barbecue I've ever had was at a place called Oklahoma Joe's on Waterline in Kansas City, over by Rolling Park, if you've ever been over that way.
I've heard a lot of people say that same thing.
I thought you was about to say you've been there.
Oh, I have. I used to live on Waterline in Rolling Park. I lived in Kansas City for 4 years, so I used to go over to Oklahoma Joe's all the time. I don't know if it's still open. I haven't been there in almost a decade, but that's the spot.
Is it Oklahoma City? Oklahoma City?
No, it was in Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Kansas. Yeah, on the Kansas side.
Kansas side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I wanted to call my shot, man. I think the Titans are going to pull this out for the uncertainty that Dobbs brings to this offense with Henry coming back and his ability to be mobile. And I think I think there'll be some read options and stuff tonight. I think it's 24-17 Titans. If it's the last game of the year, hey, man, I think we did a hell of a job with who we had. It'll get fixed in the offseason. I'm very confident. But I hope we win. Let's all tighten up, come together. Let's have a hell of a night together, and go Titans.
Love it, Tony. Barbecue.
A lot of people fired up during the night. They better get ready. They're going to have that get pumped up video for the game, boy. I hope they show that on national TV, too, man. I want to see it. I do. Boy, some people going to get lit right off the bat watching it right in their living room.
All right, we got one more segment of this show. We are hoping to have inactives, and let's talk about maybe Christian Fulton. Let's talk about this a little bit when we come back. There were guys who didn't practice late in the week, but they were on the injury report, but they weren't ruled out of the game. Titans still battling some injuries. Some guys rested, some guys battling injuries. Be real interesting to see who plays tonight and who does not play. So we will wait for the inactives. We'll discuss that. You want to call in? This has been a fun party.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last one of these that we got for the regular season. Hoping to have some more for the playoffs. Everybody checking in. So we'll just keep this roll call. You check in. We will get you on the air, 615-737-1045. Thanks to Lee Company for sponsoring this party. Lee Company, all you need, visit them online at leecompany.com.
Superbook Sports, that's where you go to wager on every remaining NFL game. We've got the Titans and the Jags later this evening and a full slate of Week 18 football on Sunday. Superbook Sports is how you can get in on the action. So download the Superbook app today. They'll match your first bet up to $1,000, win or lose. And it's not just football, hockey, basketball, the college football championship coming up on Monday night. Superbook Sports is where you go. So download the Superbook app today. Go to superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Ooh, I see him with the swag.
Lee Company countdown to kickoff 1045 The Zone. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. They got us covered for this final segment of the final pregame Lee Company countdown of the regular season.
Yeah,
Yes,
there you go.
Blink an eye. 17 games over just like that. 18 weeks. Titans and Jags, two old rivals. A guy who knows all about the rivalry. Blaine Bishop played in it. It's a big part of how this rivalry got started. Blaine Bishop, Mickey Ryan, and our man Action Jackson taking your calls.
I also was in their first win as an organization, right? Didn't we look this up? When they were I was with the Houston Oilers, and we were the first team that they beat as a franchise team, wasn't it? Is that right?
I believe that's right.
I think you looked that up because I thought it was right.
Yes.
Because
you said,
right.
I think we lost to them, their first win, and we looked it up. I do believe that's right.
Yeah, I don't know what. I think it might have been 95, 6, somewhere there.
90. I think they started in 95 because in 96 they had that wild year where in their second year, them and in their second year the Panthers both played for their conference championships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's when was it the Chiefs or the Broncos the Jags played?
The Jags beat the Broncos that year in the playoffs because Woody Page, who's a columnist that is on all these TV shows where they say funny stuff, he wrote a column and called them a bunch of names, and then they came out here and beat them.
Yeah.
Which shows anybody can beat anybody on the road, and this is essentially a playoff game tonight. And Blaine, there you go, just pulling one out of your backside there.
No,
but that's a team that had no business going to Denver and beating those Broncos, and guess what? They did. So anything can happen, and this is essentially a playoff game tonight. I wanted to ask you this. I've been saving this question. I thought, okay, I'll start the last segment with this.
Oh.
Callers have been crazy hyped. I woke up this morning. I was thinking about it. I even showed up to the radio station a little bit early because I thought I can't sit around the house anymore. How do you control your emotions so you are up at the exact right time, like mentally, to peak at 7:15?
Well, it's an art, by the way, and I think as a young player, those things I would exhaust myself. So, especially if you had to sit around in the hotel pretty much all day and then have any meetings because you played a night game. So you try to occupy your time with watching a movie or talking to family and friends, just to relax. Play wherever card games or whatever, just to get your mind off of the actual game instead of just sitting there by yourself, just thinking about the game and kind of running through the game in your head and all the things that you got to do and that. So that's the only way. And trust me, you have to train yourself as a player to do that. And I'm not going to act like it's easy, but especially a game like this that you want so bad. So, yeah, you just got to relax and then go out there and have some fun. At the end of the day, it's just a game, but in reality, it means so much. And you can't think about that part about it. You just got to think about all your responsibilities and then go play ball.
Yeah,
it is a battle.
You know me, I'm an eater.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, I think I'm going to grab a little something else.
Oh, yeah, I was ordering extra room service, that's for sure.
Yeah, I would be involved in whatever was available. I would just be eating all day. I would eat my feelings.
What I would do would go back down and watch more film like I'm watching TV in a movie and replay the game in my head, especially we played them twice. So I'm going to replay the game again in my head after I've watched it probably 3 times already and all other games. So I'm playing the game within the game that day. Yep. And so then when it gets out there, it's like, oh, man, I done seen this 50 billion times.
It just unfolds in front of you.
Yeah, then I just react and let my instincts and all my study and preparation lead me down the right path.
We actually have a Jags fan checking in. Mike from Nashville. We have a wayward Jags fan in Nashville who has called in, 615-737-1045. Mike, you got to be hyped about this. Your team's on a roll.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely hype about it, man. I'll be honest. Living in Nashville, I've been getting dogged by my friends for the last 10 years, 15 years.
Oh my!
Besides 2017, I just want to say, man, y'all's free ride to the AFC South title is officially over. I hope y'all enjoyed it. It's been 4 years. Y'all had a free ride. Y'all had one this year and you blew it. And now for the next 5 years, we are on the throne. It's ours. It's us.
Oh,
what y'all think about that?
Oh man. You guys. Oh my!
Mike, you old rascal, you.
Yeah. I guess since he's taken all this abuse, as he mentioned there, for 10 years, he thought, you know what, I can call it, I think we got him. And you're not going to get him because they're going to still hold the crown. You better watch out when you got the crown. Until you take it, until you win it.
Yeah.
And right now, it's for all the marbles. It's not your crown. So we shall see. I love it, though. The fans, man, they all in.
If you're a Titans fan or a Jags fan, your football life is better when these teams are competitive. Those games, competitive games between the Titans and the Jags, are special, because when you guys came here and the Oilers became the Titans, and the Jags would roll in here and you guys would roll down there, they had all these great players who are still some of the greatest in their franchise history. You guys had all these great players who are still among the greatest in the history of this franchise. You had all these fantastic players. You had 2 iconic coaches in the franchise history for both.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, those games meant a lot. And the Jags haven't been I'd say 2017, but they've been in a constant rebuild and firing coaches and hiring coaches. And the Titans had, a decade or so where they were lost. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun if because the Jags are set up for some success. I mean, we had Matt Hayes on, who covers them, and he's like, think about this, guys. They had like a top 10 draft pick for years.
Yeah.
They're loaded with all these guys.
Yeah, they got talent. Yeah, there's no question about that. Now they're getting coaching, and that's why they're where they're at, on the edge of precipices, I guess, to think that they're going into the playoffs. So, like I said, until they take the crown, there is no crown until it's over. So I get the fans getting hyped up and everything, but for whatever reason, I'm feeling the Titans are going to get them. All Dobbs has to do is just manage this game and let the king take over and let the defense ball out. Now, if the defense don't ball out, I'm like, uh-oh, we in trouble. They may have to create some turnovers. They're going to have to get after Trevor Lawrence. Even when he's doing a quick passing game, they can get their hands up, but they're going to have to make him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that last game. So if they do that, I think they got a great shot, because I think he's a guy that thinks he can do it on his own. And force issues, and so then there's Byard, there's Fulton. Hopefully he stays out there. Hopefully he'll be out there.
Well, we said we would talk about Fulton. Groin, soft tissue injury.
That one makes me
I know
nervous.
You've been nervous all week.
But with Fulton, yes, I have been. Yeah, he could start off, but, man, when you accelerate in a game, there's nothing in warm-ups to rehab to practicing to the level of intensity that you're running in a game. So until that gets tested with Fulton, I'm a little nervous, because not only is his groin, but it's also his hamstring. So somehow it's tied around, and that tells me I don't know. Now, you can wear one of those, they have special girdles that you wear under your pad to make sure you're limited, on your range, but does that affect his speed? Especially that warp speed. When you're at corner, you got to get to that warp speed all the time. So I'll be watching that closely if he's out there. I'm hoping he is, but if he can survive.
Temps in the high 50s right now in Jacksonville. They're in the high 60s today. Yeah. So
keep it warm. Yeah, so I think that's cool. Still got to hydrate. And that's one thing that's always an issue when you're in games. It's hard to hydrate when you don't feel like you need to be hydrated. So you got to just keep putting the water in the Gatorade or whatever they're using on the sidelines for them. So, yeah, especially when you have some issue going on as far as, a hammy soft tissue. Yeah.
You ready to unload all these numbers that I sorted out this week?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to rock steady.
Okay. So, number one is this. And I know numbers anything could change.
No report yet? I don't want it. Before you start, no report on the actives and inactives?
No, I got it ready to roll. I'm thinking maybe in 3 minutes. So we'll see. So we'll know who finished the week strong enough, well enough to play. We will know soon, hopefully, if my clock is right. So for Derrick Henry tonight, the number for him, looking at his career against the Jags, if he has had 18 or more carries in a game against the Jags, the Titans have never lost. Not yards, not how many touchdowns, just 18-plus carries. Now, he's had 17 3 times. They've gone 1-2 in those games, including earlier this year. He had 17 in that game, and they lost. after starting with 96 yards in the first quarter. So that's an interesting number, 6-0 in games versus Jags when Derrick Henry has 18 or more carries. Here's some more interesting ones. The Jags are 1-7 when they score 22 or less points.
Mm-hmm.
They are 7-1 when they score 24 or more. They didn't score 23 in a game, but if they hit 24, Blaine, this rascal's probably game over. That's based on their whole sampled season body of work. You hold them to 22 or under, you are possibly in business. Now, here's the bad thing about the Titans. When the defense allows 19 or more points, the Titans are 1-8. So you probably can't even let the Jags get to 22. Can you even let them get to 20? You think Titans can get 21 tonight with Astro Dobbs?
I think they have no choice.
Yeah.
If they're going to win this game, they have to. They have to get to 21. They have to. I mean, this team, yeah. I'd prefer 28, but we know they've only –
they never done that this year. 27. Well, if they could get 27, if they could equal what they did against the Packers somehow, with Big Jeff back and Danico healthy, because those are things. Big Jeff rested last week. Danico rested last week. And Fulton's groin is fully groined.
Yeah, and Downing got to pull out that same game plan and be on rhythm with the offensive play calling. Yeah, that happens. Dobbs managed the game, get him a couple deep balls, loosen him up. Henry just keeps pounding him, then he breaks one. He's at home. That's where he's from. So he going to be lit. They got him last time. Yeah. That's where we're at. It's an exciting time, though.
All right, I got the inactives.
Oh, you got the inactives?
I got them.
Make sure you're ready for. We're gonna play that pre-game music video before we go.
All right, 2 more numbers, then I'll give you the inactives. You're going to be super interested when you hear this. The inactives.
Uh-oh.
Here's 2 more numbers. The Jags are 1-6 when Trevor Lawrence is sacked 2 or more times in the game.
Oh, they got to get him. All they got to do is make him hold on to the. I know they didn't get him in the last time.
Do you know how many times they even hit him in the last game?
Hit him?
Just hit.
4. One time?
One.
Oh,
one.
Man, that one time I was perturbed. Man.
They
hit
him
to forget things like
his
that.
uniform didn't have to be washed after the game. They hit him one.
Well, he was scrambling too, throwing from going to his right, going to his left. I'm like, man, this dude has turned to exactly what they thought he was gonna be. I was like, wow, dang. Yeah, they got to get after him. All they got to do is play a little bit of zone, disguise, stay in that quick passing game, and the guys are sitting there right there waiting, and he holds on to it and fake pumps, and then tries to go somewhere else, and then sack by Mike Keith. And it'll be Autry, Tart, Big Jeff, you name it. It doesn't even matter. Get after him. Harass him. Make him uncomfortable. He was too cool customer, man. I just saw his lovely locks waving in the air while he's running around. Come on, man. They got to get that cat on the ground.
There's your numbers. Here's one more, then I'll tell you these inactives. I'm making people hold here. The Jags are 2-7 this year, 2-7 when teams run the ball 27 or more times. Just running the ball against them. There's no amount of success required. They've won 2 games and lost 7 when teams control, essentially, Blaine, control the clock against them.
I guarantee Vrabel knows all these numbers you spitting.
I hope he's listening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was listening for sure. So, I know he knows going into this game as much as he's prepped with those extra days, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he knows. It's going to be a heavy dose of Henry. I want the crowd to be so lit that they fake pump to Henry that first play and go downtown. Then I want to see Dobbs go, shh.
I would never do that.
Quiet, please.
Inactives for Saturday night. This is per Kim A. Smith, who works for the Titans in media relations.
Uh-oh.
They've already ruled one guy out. It's cornerback Devontae Harris.
Oh, well, yeah, that was already done, yeah.
They have ruled out defensive tackle Naquan Jones.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Or maybe because they got some other guys up, right?
You would think so. And they have ruled out one other guy, only 3 people. That shows you how few healthy bodies they have right now. Only one other guy is ruled out. It is.
Who that? Don't say it's faulted.
Safety.
Hooker?
Mike Brown.
Oh, Mike Brown.
Honestly, I really have to think about I'm sorry to the Brown family, but I'm sitting here thinking, I don't even know if I could point Mike Brown out.
Oh, no. There was a Mike Brown that played for the Chicago Bears. Was a pretty good player.
Now, him I remember.
Yeah, I think, was he from Nebraska? Where did he go to school?
I think that's right.
Yeah, he was a pretty good player.
Yeah, this would not be that guy.
Yeah, that's not him.
People are now fighting in the Zone TV chat. Somebody said, here's a number for you, 0-6. I think that means for the last 6 games.
Oh,
Mason,
stop that.
That's ZW. Mason is saying ugly things to ZW now in the Zone TV chat. You mentioned Mike Vrabel with extra time to prepare. You want that number?
Yes.
Remember, you and me were sitting here on Friday, and you're like, you start going crazy pointing at the TV. We look up.
Oh, there go Dobbs right there.
Astro Dobbs.
Yeah.
Oh, he's wearing a DeMar shirt. Everybody
Love
is.
for 3 DeMar. Everybody on the team. Probably both teams. They were doing some special stuff for him.
By the way, DeMar Hamlin tweeted earlier today.
What?
He tweeted.
Oh, man.
So he continues to be a miracle story. Absolutely. Man. We talked a lot about him this week, but can't let this show go by without saying, wow, what a blessing it has been to see this young man.
For the
bounce back this
week.
week.
The doctors, yes. They are the true heroes. I think that's who they're honoring a little bit before the game with DeMar. Yeah.
Oh, gosh, that'd be fantastic. Let those first responders run out and get recognized. I love it. Thanks to all our first responders who do things like those guys who saved DeMar Hamlin's life. All right, Mike Vrabel on 9+ days of rest. Again, we're just sitting here Friday doing our show. If you're mostly a Titans listener, Blaine and me, we have a show 1 to 3 Monday through Friday on the station, and you can just get all of this that you want. So you start pointing at the TV. I take a picture with my phone. Mike Vrabel teams. This is the only place he's ever been a head coach, so this is it. Mike Vrabel teams on 9+ days of rest. 9-1.
Ooh.
With, listen to this, with a 155+ point differential.
Oh, dang.
I mean, they play a lot of 1 and 2 and 3 point games. 9+ days rest.
That's a lot. Wow, that's impressive. Yeah, you kind of got that Andy Reid stat on a bye week type stuff.
So
that's big. That's huge. What's going to be bigger than that is, Trevor Lawrence gave us a little bit of the pageant wave at the end of that game. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he kind of gave him a, nah, 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 nah. Hey, hey, hey. When somebody puts him on his freaking back, I want them to wave at him while he down there and his eyes is rolling the back of his head. Say, nah, 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 nah. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Hit it. The video, bro.
We got what video?
It's time, Duval.
Since we've had 5 home stadiums in 4 years, if you would include Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville.
It's all on the line. We wouldn't want it any other way. In 12 days, the script flipped. Titans. We'll get to them in a second. Happy trails, Cowboys. So long, Jets. We're holding our heads a little higher these days. Even if it is just to keep the hair out of our eyes. So what? Now what? We ain't done nothing yet. This division can be ours, but one team stands in our way. I hate the Titans. Shoot, we all remember 99. At some point, you get sick and tired of getting punched in the mouth.
Lost the football. Ingram holds up.
It's our time to take back the AFC South and knock the king off his throne. Tonight, we show the world who we are. So get on your feet. Because it's prime time, baby. In
Tighten up! Let's go! That is the Jags hype video that featured a 20-year-old clip from Jeff Fisher right there in Jacksonville.
Oh, boy.
We have got less than 1 minute left. Blaine Bishop.
I'm going to get caught speeding because I'll be so jacked up.
This is essentially a playoff game. Again, running low on time. We got about 30 seconds, 35 seconds. You've gone down there and won a playoff game. This is essentially one tonight. Tell me what's the key to go out and get this done.
I'm going to just say this. No turnovers, and no false starts. That's it. They do that, they're going to win this game. That's it. Henry going to do his thing. No turnovers by Dobbs and manage the game. It's not that hard. As far as the game plan, now executing is a little different story.
Time for Big Jeff Danico to eat. It's also time for us to hand it off to the Titans radio crew to get you all the way up to the final game of the regular season. Everything on the line for the AFC South in Jacksonville.
All the marbles.
And as always, we leave you with this. Tighten up!